boy, you can't cry. You're a girl, you can't get angry. You can't dance, it's inappropriate. You can't play outside, it's dangerous. You can't talk back, it's disrespectful. Anything that took that instinctual response and shoved it back down. Even if those barriers are no longer physically present, they can still have power over us because the body is the unconscious mind and it remembers. We used to think our mind controlled everything, our feelings, our decisions, and even our physiology. We thought that if we just had more information and changed our mindset, that we would be good. But research shows that we were wrong. The brain's only in charge 20% of the time. So when you thought you up here were calling the shots and leading your life, or when the you up here was causing you to be depressed, anxious, and overwhelmed, it wasn't really the conscious you. It was the unconscious you that controlled that 80%, your body. The body is the unconscious mind, running on programs up to 500 million years old, and that only understand life or death. So it's safe to say reason and language won't work nearly as well as body-based communication. So things like breath, movement, and touch. That is how the body understands that it is safe to connect, to play, and to leave the comfort zone when it grants you the permission to do the things that you want to do without paying a hefty price for them later. And the reason why I say this is because it's very common in the personal development space to resource things like urgency, obsession, anger, fear, delusion to get to where you want to be. These are powerful motivators, but they either talk to your mind, that 20%, or extort your fight or flight response to get you moving, which is very taxing on the body. So burnout and shutdown are inevitable. Luckily, there's a better option that leaves you feeling good and gets you even more traction long term. Today, we'll be exploring that better option, body-based practices or somatic practices that utilize your breath, movement, and touch to help you release and process trapped emotions or thoughts that have held you back for years. The idea is, if your body is functioning properly, then getting what you want will be so much easier. It's supposed to feel natural. I neglected this type of inner work for a very long time. I really thought it wasn't for someone like me who respected intellect and confronting challenges head on, not this being in my body and feeling my feeling stuff. Even though on the outside I appeared sensitized and able to feel, I had no idea how much survival stress and deep pain I had within me. And that might be the case for you as well. So I invite you to try these practices and see how you feel. They're meant to help you release trapped sensations, honor your emotions, and open your mind to the possibility that your life can and will look different. And once that's part of your everyday life and understanding of the world, you will have a much larger capacity to try new things and maybe even be consistent for the first time. So I'm excited to share these with you as they've truly changed my life for the better. But before we get into the practices, some of which I will guide you through and some I will demonstrate, we need to understand something called polyvagal theory because it will give us context as to why these movements and these breathing patterns work so well. Having this knowledge will soften our judgment and open our minds to how such simple maneuvers can have such a positive and powerful impact on our health. Let's begin with what polyvagal theory is and then get into the practices. Polyvagal theory offers tremendous insight when it comes to how we can recalibrate our nervous system. If you haven't seen part 1, it's going to be somewhere up here, so check that out first. Polyvagal theory acknowledges that we have 3 brains, if you will. One located in the spine, the other in the gut, and the last one in the face and heart, connected together by the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is a major component of the parasympathetic nervous system, also known as the rest and digest. It's that mechanism that helps you calm down and relax after a threat has passed. The vagus nerve is the common thread that connects these three brains together as it collects sensory information about our external and internal environments, and it interprets this data and triggers the appropriate physiological response. So things like heart rate, digestion, inflammation levels, and facial expressions will change depending on the signals that it's taking in. So in essence, polyvagal theory explains why we enter different states like connection, activation, and shutdown, and how we can tap into them when needed and exit them when they're not needed. This is such an important skill because these different states are ancient and automatic, meaning if we're not aware when they're triggered and how to shift between them, we will never truly live. First is the ventral vagal state, and the most recently evolved at 200 million years old, linked to safety through social connection and engagement. This pathway facilitates bonding through facial expressions, visuals, listening, speaking, anything that has to do with activating the face and the breath. Nerves associated with this state are predominantly in the face and branch out to the ears, the heart, and the lungs. This is why things like smiling, humming, gently massaging your face and ears, and taking deep breaths can help you feel better. There are a lot of nerves in the face and the heart that, when stimulated through breath and touch, signal to the body's ancient neural networks that everything is all right. Since the ventral vagal system is the most evolved network in our bodies, it is the gateway to regulating the other two states, which we will discuss, and also accessing deeper learning and embodied spirituality. Second is the sympathetic fight or flight response at 400 million years old, located along the spine and the brainstem. This mobilizes us to deal with threats by fighting or fleeing, but can lead to chronic tension when overactivated over a long period of time. A lot of people with chronic pain, specifically back pain or migraines, are actually experiencing the effects of massive survival fight or flight energy trapped in the spine, which is why we'll be doing a spine opening exercise today to help release that stuck activation from sitting hunched over all day in our computers and phones, bombarded by emails and deadlines, taking in all that stimuli, activating and suppressing it. Where does it all go? It goes in the spine. Finally, there's the dorsal vagal, originating from the gut and the most ancient of them all at 500 million years old. This is the immobilization response, the collapse, the shutdown, where we feel numb, fatigued, and incapable. If you ever caught yourself doing this for hours, unable to move, having a blank expression all day, disconnected from everything, that's dorsal vagal. Along with the sympathetic state, this one is predominant in modern life, especially in places like big cities. You'll notice people completely checked out as they're commuting or walking around, not all there. And it makes sense why. The demands of modern life bombard us with stressors that can lead to dysregulation and shutdown. The good news is we can recalibrate these pathways using breath and movement and touch, and tapping into these sensory tools will actually improve something called vagal tone, which is the vagus nerve's ability to send calming signals to these different neural networks along the body. There is something I want to say, however. The vagus nerve is not the end-all be-all in regard to polyvagal theory. It's way more nuanced than that. You will often see YouTube videos with titles like vagus nerve reset, which I think are good to start, but it's just a simplified understanding of how this all works. Truly, the best way to utilize this knowledge is to lean into something called felt sense, which is paying close attention to the sensations within the body, such as tightness, warmth, heaviness, tingling, that are associated with emotional experiences. By tuning into these sensations without judgment and gently exploring what they might be communicating, that is how we gain deeper insights into what our body is trying to tell us. Think of felt sense as next level self-awareness because it teaches us the value of the body's role in how we perceive and how we show up in the world as a result. You will notice a theme with these practices, and that theme is expression. Expressing that activated energy that compels you to move, to sigh, to breathe, to create, to speak, to do something is how we keep our bodies clear from chronic suppression. I always found myself resisting, letting go of emotions such as rage, despair, and panic during challenging situations. I would think to myself, what is the point of breathing, going out for a walk, or journaling about my feelings? What's the point? These things aren't going to fix my problems. In fact, they're going to take away or neutralize that little bit of life force and motivation that I have within me to deal with this situation head on. I don't want to be calm. I want to be vigilant and active until this is resolved. Then I realized that mentality brought me nothing but fruitless chaos because there's no clarity, direction, grounded action that's ever going to come from that state. Bringing yourself down from an activated state or up from shut down by breathing, by speaking, by moving, by writing is not about solving your problems. It's about becoming the person who can. Without expression, you will have no room for any new energy to come into your life. The energy that's supposed to bring growth and mindset changes and new habits. So if you have this little capacity left after a long day at a job you hate or after so many draining conversations with family members, whatever it is, use that little bit of energy and space within you to express through your body so you can free up internal space for the things that truly matter to you, for the things that you've always wanted to do. And I know this is way easier said than done. The reason we enter dysregulation in the first place is because expression was never safe, permitted, or even an option that we knew of. Examples of this are, you're a boy, you can't cry. You're a girl, you can't get angry. You can't dance, it's inappropriate. You can't play outside, it's dangerous. You can't talk back, it's disrespectful. Anything that took that instinctual response and shoved it back down. Even if those barriers are no longer physically present, they can still have power over us because the body is the unconscious mind and it remembers. So try your best to make it easy on yourself. Be self-compassionate, be accommodating. It all starts with awareness. So here are some things to do before we begin. First and foremost, choice is more important than doing. You don't have to do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, physically or emotionally, which means modifications are welcome. If a practice is shown standing and you can't stand or don't want to stand, feel free to sit, lie down, or whatever you like. If I say close your eyes and you don't like that, no problem. You may keep your eyes open, half open, or even close them later on in the practice. Other modifications include turning the lights off or on, including someone with you, playing music in the background, anything that will help you stay engaged and present. The next thing to be intentional with is your environment. So please be in a safe space, uninterrupted. Bare feet or socks are recommended. Comfy clothes or clothes that bring you joy. Preferred lighting and some water and tissues by your side in case you need them. Lastly, if you're just dipping your toes in the world of somatic practices, it can be hard to know when something is working and when something is not working for you. So I'm going to put some compatibility versus incompatibility signs on the screen. Please look them over and then we will begin. Whether you're activated or in shutdown, this hand pressing technique is wonderful for resetting your nervous system. You know that feeling when you've been underwater for a while and then you get that sudden urge to finally breach the surface for that big inhale, that sense of relief and resetting? This hand pressing practice is pretty much the same thing. You'd be surprised how dysregulated our breath gets when we're in this constant low grade fight, flight, or freeze response. So this comes in very handy when you need to downshift from activation or come back online from shutdown. All right, let's give it a try. First, you're going to find a comfortable seated position, keeping your spine nice and straight but not rigid, just like a natural posture. And then you're going to bring your hands together in prayer in front of your heart. And then we're going to take a big inhale from the belly, from your nose. Then you're going to exhale everything out of your lungs. Hold at the bottom and press your palms together as hard as you possibly can while holding your breath. Okay. Keep pressing, keep pressing. And then breathe. You're going to get the urge to breathe, so just follow that natural urge. And then return to your natural breathing. All right. Let's try that one more time. So we're going to take a big inhale from the belly, hands in prayer, exhale everything out, hold at the bottom, and then press, and then eventually release. Press. After all that tension and intensity, it's going to feel a lot more natural to just relax and enter that rest and recovery state. Now, if you like what you're feeling, feel free to do this for 3 reps, and then you can repeat this 2 to 3 times throughout the day, depending on what works for you. Let's take some time to open up the spine with some gentle movements synchronized with the breath. There are a series of 7 movements that open your spine in different directions to get any stuck survival energy out of your body. This can be done seated on the floor, on a cushion, or in a chair, whatever is most supportive for your body. Bring your palms to your thighs, and as you inhale, lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, relax your jaw. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, drawing out your exhale a little longer than your inhale. We're going to initiate our first movement by making gentle circles with our torso, moving to one side as you inhale and the other as you exhale. Going to do a few of these on each side. Remember to keep your palms on your knees. And as you inhale, open up the front of your body, your chest, your neck. Look up to the sky like you're swimming up to the surface for your big first inhale. And as you exhale, round your back, bringing your chin toward your chest to hollow out the spine. Make sure your arms stay straight here. You may do a few rounds inhaling to open and exhaling to round, whatever feels good for you. Now that we have the spine warmed up, we can introduce some expansion and contraction movements. Begin by opening your arms wide from side to side, palms open, spread your fingers, open your chest, widen your eyes, and squeeze the shoulder blades as you inhale. And as you exhale, bring your arms together, round your spine in, close your eyes, and make gentle fists, bringing your elbows in. Really squeeze all your muscles here. Your face, your hands, your arms, your shoulders, and release. Open your arms wide. Take a big inhale from the belly. And as you exhale, contract all your muscles as you curl in. I like to think of this movement as a reminder that I can open my heart and be receptive no matter how many times I close myself off to the world. The option to come back to this resilient acceptance is always there if I'm brave enough to try again. So far, we've done 3 movements to open up the front and the back of the spine, so now we will introduce some side body maneuvers. This is called lateral flexion, and it starts by making cactus arms with your elbows bent, pointed out to the sides, palms facing forward. Inhale to a neutral position. Then, as you exhale, lean to one side and bring the arm down with your elbow, meeting the pelvis to open up the side body. Take an inhale here, really feeling that stretch in your lats. And as your side body expands, exhale. And inhale your way to neutral. And then exhale to the other side. Take a deep breath from the belly, open your lats, and repeat. I usually do about 3 to 5 of these on each side. Now for some spinal twists. Bring your arms up with the fingers in front of the shoulders, elbows out. Inhale to center, then twist to one side as you exhale through the nose. Inhale to center, and twist to the other side as you exhale. Keep the momentum going as your breathing intensifies, and repeat to the other side. Remember to breathe in and out from your nose to keep that energy up. Now come back to neutral. Release the head and neck by inhaling, reaching your arms overhead, then exhaling to give yourself a hug. Now we're going to combine all these movements together. Roll your body in circles as you exhale, letting your head fall forward, and inhale as you come back through the spine. Let's do about 5 of these, syncing the breath with the movement as gracefully and intentionally as we can. And to balance out, come back to neutral, open your arms wide, inhale, and cross your arms in the other way for that hug, and then repeat in the reverse. And feel free to exaggerate this movement. Sometimes we forget how integral the spine is when it comes to expression. Whether that's joy, excitement, fear, anger, whatever it may be, expression can be new for some of us, so this gentle embrace reminds us that we can always find safety within ourselves, no matter which direction we're going or where we've been. Once you're ready, you may come back to neutral and take a moment here to pause. And now we will move on to the final movement. This is called bowing from heaven to earth. We will start seated with our hands on our knees, tilt the head up slightly, and as you inhale, lead the movement forward with your chin, and exhaling as you tilt your head down. Tuck your chin as you curl your spine, rounding in, then inhale forward, leading with the chin, and exhale as you unroll your spine, vertebra by vertebra. Try to make this as smooth as possible. And repeat this a few times. It should feel really good on your spine. And of course, to balance this out, we will do the reverse movement. So come back to neutral, tuck your chin as you inhale and dive forward and down, reaching your neck, your chest, and your heart up to the sky. Then exhale to neutral. And repeat a few times. And when you're ready, you may come back to neutral and bring the practice to the close. Finish by shaking your shoulders out, exhaling to release excess energy, Take one more full breath in and sigh it out. Take a moment to bring some awareness back to your body and ask yourself, how do you feel? What did you experience emotionally, mentally, and physically? Feel free to reflect after practicing while this experience is still fresh. Our first practice is centered on honoring anger and holding space for righteous rage. This is especially helpful if you feel you've been wronged, disappointed, and want to feel an empowering release, a release that restores you while also empowering you to take action from a place of intention and clarity. So if that holds true for you, I highly recommend trying this practice. First, I invite you to stand, though you're welcome to sit if you prefer. And we will begin by grounding ourselves. So plant your feet shoulder width apart, finding a stance that feels solid and balanced. You may want to bend your knees slightly, maybe try a gentle, loose bounce. Feel your center of gravity dropping down through your spine, your pelvis, and deep into the earth or the floor. Find that rooted, stable sensation. And once you feel grounded, take a moment to stand still and breathe deeply through your nose and a longer exhale through your mouth. A couple of breaths here. Become familiar with this rhythm of breathing. And when you're ready, slowly bring your arms up as you inhale. Then, as you exhale, slowly press your palms downward, syncing this flowing movement with the rhythm of your breath. Up, down, in, and out. Imagine as you breathe in and your arms rise, you are stoking a fire within the center of your body. This fire can symbolize righteous anger, injustice you see in the world, frustration, whatever emotion comes to the surface. Feel the heat building up in your center, and as your palms descend, envision the fire getting quieter, cooling 1 degree at a time. You may envision a coiled spring of energy in your center expanding, getting warmer, brighter as you inhale, and compressing, getting cooler as you exhale. Keep breathing deeply, feet firmly on the ground. And allow yourself to build this energy of activation gradually at your own pace. And if you'd like to try this, think of something in your life that needs change. This could be how someone treated you, how underappreciated your job makes you feel, how negatively you speak to yourself. As you visualize and feel into this charge, bring your attention to that energy building up in your center, and feel the heat transfer into your arms, into your hands with your movements. You can always drop this posture, shake it off, and return to your natural breathing. Now envision wrapping this energy around the change you seek. Let it build inside you, between your hands. And when you're ready, take a deep inhale and push outward with force. Come back to the center, build the energy, and push, dropping your pelvis, audibly expressing that energy with a sigh, a scream, a grunt, whatever sound comes up for you and that you feel safe expressing. Another variation of this is pushing against a sturdy wall. So if that feels better for you, then please do so. Continue to build this fire with each in-breath, coil the energy with each out-breath. And when the power feels right, push. You may push forward into the air, down into the ground, or fully releasing into a soft surface. Okay, one more time. Give it everything for the last one. Envision projecting that energy outward to the change that you seek, breaking through barriers, making your voice heard. Feel that empowerment of expression through every movement. And when you're ready, gently bring yourself back to your natural breathing and take a seat if you'd like. You may notice after expressing this intensity, letting it be seen, that tender emotions of sadness, of helplessness, of powerlessness, all underlying emotions of anger may emerge. Oftentimes, anger is a cover for vulnerable emotions. It is there to protect us with its defensiveness and intensity. But underneath it all, there is usually fear. Fear that we can't provide for ourselves, protect ourselves, or that we'll be abandoned. If this comes up for you, just notice where it is in the body and dedicate a couple of breaths to it. Meet it with compassion and care. If nothing is coming up for you, that is perfectly okay. Sometimes these intense emotions require consistency in order for them to feel safe to come up to the surface. Breathe in and breathe out, and give yourself a little shake to release any remaining tension. Place your hands over your heart, one on top of the other, breathing into the space that may feel a bit lighter, fuller, and lifted. Whatever it is for you, just let it be. And if it feels right, you may let out an audible sigh and reflect on how powerful it was to choose this experience, to engage in a way that honors your boundaries. Notice any softer energy arising, perhaps openness, love, presence for yourself, for others, empathy. And if you feel called, extend your hands outwards right in front of you, or you may rest your palms on your thighs, offering this transformed energy to the collective, or to your space, or to your future self. Observe your open hands and the power of choice, your willingness to transmute intensity into gentleness. And when you're ready, you may wind down, bringing your awareness back to the room, and open your eyes if they were closed. And if you're up for it, you may reflect on what came up for you. You can journal, record yourself, talk with a trusted friend, and ask, did you feel a clearing, a sense of strength or grounding? Did you notice any connection between your anger and motivation, between your rage and empowerment? Once the anger was released, did anything else come up for you? Whatever comes to mind. If you're still a bit activated after this practice, you may use some orienting, resourcing, or pendulation to help you come back to the state of calm. Self-havening uses gentle touches on the arms, the face, and the hands to activate our skin's sensory nerves, engaging the vagus nerve and initiating the rest and digest response. This practice mimics the comfort of hugs, which shifts our brain into a deeply relaxed delta wave state, releasing calming neurochemicals like serotonin and oxytocin. It reduces distress and de-escalates the amygdala's reaction to stress, enhancing our sense of safety and agency over our emotions. Incorporating self-havening techniques also cleverly engages our working memory, a critical aspect highlighted by the practice. By redirecting focus to the soothing actions and sensations of touch, we give our working memory a new task, shifting attention away from stressors and interrupting the cycle of anxiety or rumination. This process not only helps us calm the mind in the present, but also teaches the brain to prioritize and handle emotional distress more effectively. Adding orienting and resourcing exercises further aids in emotional regulation, anchoring us in the present and utilizing positive memories for comfort. For an in-depth look at orienting and resourcing, check out the nervous system regulation video. We will begin in a relaxed upright seated position. Once you're physically comfortable, turn your attention inward and think of a recent moment that's been causing you stress or worry, scanning for any physical tension or rumination in the mind. This could feel like anxiety, tightness in your chest, stiffness in your back, or an overall bracing of your body. Now rate this experience from 0 to 10, 0 being complete peace and bliss, and 10 being the most distress you've ever felt. With your experience in mind, let's start the self-havening touch. You can choose to caress the face like so, gently grazing the arms from shoulder to elbow, giving yourself that comforting hug, or rub your hands together like you're washing your hands. Feel free to mix these in any way that feels right or stick to the one that you like the best. Now let's shift our focus outward for a moment. Look around and find 3 blue items, 2 red, and 1 yellow. Now notice 3 shiny surfaces, 2 with texture, and 1 that's bumpy. Orienting helps ground us in the present moment and prepares our mind for positive redirection. When you're ready, you may close your eyes, continuing the touch pattern that you prefer, and begin counting backwards from 10 as we prepare to bring a pleasant memory to the forefront of our minds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This memory could be something that brings you joy, comfort, excitement, any feeling that you enjoy. For me, I'm recalling the beautiful scenery on my trip to Japan, and this one day in particular where I watched the sunset over this beautiful bridge, overlooking the water, with a matcha in my hand, and the cooling summer breeze. I remember feeling so alive, but not in a grand way, in more of an intentional and immersive way. What's your memory? And how did you feel in that moment? As you hold on to this memory, continue with the self-havening touch, letting the positive feelings from that memory wash over you, soothing your body, letting your body know that you see it, that you feel it, and that you are here for it. As you immerse in this memory, notice the colors, the sounds, the sensations associated with it. Let the details fill your senses. See if you can get as close to experiencing it in this moment as possible. After spending some time here, take a moment to breathe deeply. Inhale slowly to the count of 4, welcoming the peace and joy from your memory into your mind and body. Then exhale gently to the count of 6, releasing any residual tension or stress. Now revisit the stressful experience that you identified earlier and rate it again from a scale of 0 to 10. Has your perception of it changed? If there's still some tension, know that it's okay to repeat this meditation or engage in another soothing activity like humming, massaging your ears, or engage in some orienting to help redirect and calm your ruminating mind. By practicing self-havening and focusing on positive memories or the details of our immediate surroundings, we teach our brain and body to find peace and resilience in the face of life's challenges. Remember, each breath is a reminder of the strength and the serenity within you, and each out-breath is a release of what is no longer aligning with you. You may open your eyes when you're ready, or repeat this practice until you're ready to close it.